Have you ever thought about why some narcissists can't seem to let go of their ex-partners, even after a long time has passed? You may have felt it yourself, a text message from them out of the blue, a persistent social media follower, or them casually talking about you to people you both have. It seems like they can't fully move on, even though a lot of time has passed. Today, we're going to get to the bottom of this strange behavior and figure out why narcissists stay mentally connected to their ex-partners. Stay with me until the end, because the reasons behind this may surprise you, and what we find could give you a new way to think about how to deal with this unique situation. Before we start, please subscribe to this channel if you like deep conversations about selfish relationships and psychology. Remember to like this movie and share it with someone who could use some help with this conversation. Now, let's look at the complicated feelings that make narcissists still connect with their ex-partners. There is a big difference between how narcissists and other people experience connections. Some people see relationships as chances to grow together, connect emotionally, and share experiences. But narcissists only see relationships as ways to get what they want and control others. Relationships with them aren't about teamwork or giving and receiving. They're about what they can get out of them to satisfy their constant need for approval. From the start, they see their partner as a source of narcissistic supply, which includes respect, attention, and praise. This supply gives them the outside support they need to keep their inflated sense of self-worth. Their weak ego starts to fall apart without this steady flow of approval. This need for supply doesn't go away when the relationship stops. If anything, it gets stronger because they know they might lose control over someone they used to control. Narcissists have a very different experience of breakups than most people do. For most people, it's a time to think, heal, and grow emotionally. Breakups aren't just hard on them emotionally, they're also bad for their pride. When they lose a partner, they lose a major source of income, which makes them feel less powerful. Not only does the person's absence bother them, but they also feel like they have lost power and can't shape the story of the relationship anymore. Narcissists have to face the hard truth that they might not be as powerful, wanted, or irreplaceable as they think they are when they break up with someone. This is why, even after a breakup, they often stay involved with their ex-partner and don't let go completely. They don't stay in touch out of love, memories, or a real desire to connect. Instead, they do it because they desperately want to feel in charge and influential. Narcissists have a hard time cutting ties with others because they can't handle loss, rejection, or any other kind of defeat. They think of relationships as battlegrounds where they have to win and always be in charge of their mate. When things change, like when a couple breaks up, or when one partner decides to be independent, the narcissist sees it as a challenge to their power. To get back on their feet, they often try to keep one foot in the door of their ex's life by sneaking or being openly involved in their life again. Under the guise of worry, friendship, or unfinished business, this could show up as sudden calls, texts, or even appearances. However, their real goal isn't usually to make a real link again. Instead, these actions are planned attempts to regain control over a well-known enemy. Think about how narcissists often go back to their ex-partners when they are having a hard time. If their current source of supply starts to fail, like a new partner, work, or some other outside validation, they turn to old ties for comfort. Going back to an ex-partner gives you a sense of comfort and a quick way to regain control without starting from scratch with a new relationship. It's not about love or lingering feelings. It's about proving their power and making themselves feel better. By going after an ex, they hope to feel better about themselves and make sure they stay in charge of the situation. The ex-partner becomes a backup plan, an easy way for the narcissist to avoid realizing how inadequate they are or the awkwardness of feeling like they don't matter. Narcissists often have a skewed and limited memory of their ex-partners, even when they say they still feel emotionally connected to them. The partnership isn't something they remember in full, or with any real perspective. They instead remember the times when they were admired, praised, or in charge. They romanticize these parts of the relationship, drawing an unrealistic picture that leaves out the hurt they caused, the lies they told, and the pain they caused. This selective nostalgia lets them get in touch with their ex by saying they want to remember the good times, but they have much more planned. They are reaching out as a strategy to regain power, show that they are still wanted, and boost their self-image as someone who is admired and wanted. When a narcissist tries to connect with you, it's usually not to make things right or start over. The main thing they want is to get back in charge and make sure they stay important in their ex-partner's life. They might use flattery, charm, or even fake apologies to get their ex to open up, but they'll keep their real plan a secret. This behavior shows that they can't get over it in a healthy way. Most people see breakups as chances to learn more about themselves and grow, but narcissists see them as fights for control and won't let go until they feel like they've proven their worth again. Narcissists have a very hard time with the thought of their ex-partners going on. This is because they are very afraid of being left alone. Someone who seems confident and sure of themselves is actually filled with insecurity and weakness. Narcissists are driven by the fear of being forgotten, replaced, or thrown out of the picture. They stay close to their ex-partners, even after the relationship is over because of this underlying worry. They get very upset when they think about an ex doing well, especially in a new relationship. It's not just a loss. It's an insult to their feelings that makes their worst fears worse. This is why they do everything they can to stay connected to their ex-partners, whether it's through overt sabotage, sneaky involvement, or careful manipulation. When an ex moves on without them, it makes them feel rejected and hurts their image of being better, which they work hard to keep up. This fear of being left alone doesn't just show up when their ex moves on. It controls a lot of what they do during and after the relationship. Narcissists often think of themselves as the most important person in their partner's life, and when that role is taken away, they feel unstable. This is why they might try to ruin an ex's new relationship, either by getting in the way directly, by sharing rumors or starting fights, or by doing something more subtle, like sowing seeds of doubt. In many cases, they still act in ways that make them feel in charge even after the relationship is over. By getting involved in their ex's life, they make sure that they can't be avoided, which keeps their ex mentally attached to them. Another level of complexity is how narcissists use relationships from the past to control the people they are with now. This method, called triangulation, is a great way to keep their new partner on edge. The narcissist makes the new partner feel insecure and competitive by bringing up an ex in passing, whether to compliment or criticize them. It's possible that idealizing an ex will make the current partner feel bad about themselves, or make them work harder to get the narcissist's support. Putting down an ex, on the other hand, can make a new partner more loyal and sympathetic, which will help the narcissist keep the new partner. In either case, the ex is used as a part in the narcissist's ongoing game of manipulation, which is used to keep control over old relationships, and also to change the way their current ones work. Another way for narcissists to stay in touch with ex-partners is through social media. It might seem harmless to like an old picture, or leave a message on a shared memory, but these actions are often very bad. These are well thought out moves meant to keep the narcissist in the mind of their ex. These small contacts serve as reminders that they are there, a way to keep them in check without making direct contact. For a narcissist, even the smallest act of involvement is important, because it makes them feel like they're still important in the lives of the people they've left behind. This digital lingering gives them a way to show power that makes sure no one forgets about them. One important thing about narcissists after a breakup is that they try to avoid closure. Narcissists like it when things aren't clear and feelings aren't settled. Most people want a clean break to move on. It's not a mistake to leave a relationship with unanswered questions or lingering worries. It's a choice made on purpose to leave the door open for future interactions. They make it hard for their ex-partners to fully move on by leaving unfinished business around. The narcissist uses the lack of closure to get back into the picture whenever it suits them, keeping the link alive and making sure their ex stays in their circle of influence. If an ex tries to set limits or stop talking to the narcissist will often react quickly and strongly. Narcissists can't stand boundaries because they make them feel like they're losing power. They might get angry and use deceptive strategies like making you feel guilty or acting like the victim. In some situations, they might change their whole strategy and show sudden love or an apology that seems sincere. They aren't doing these things out of genuine regret or a wish to make peace. They're doing them because they want to regain power. Boundaries make them feel like their power is being taken away, so they will do anything to break them down and regain control. A lot of the time, this cycle of power and manipulation lasts long after the relationship is over. Narcissists may show up in the life of an ex-partner years later because they can't or won't let go of the link. This behavior comes from the fact that they can't think about themselves or grow as a person. The majority of people use a breakup as a chance to reflect on their actions, learn from their mistakes, and become better individuals going forward. Introspection is something narcissists try to avoid at all costs. To face their flaws and fears would mean admitting they have problems, which is too much for their fragile egos to handle. Instead, they blame their exes for their unhappy feelings and use them as an excuse for their own problems. The narcissist stays emotionally attached to this projection, not because they care or love the person, but because it keeps them from dealing with their own hurts. Being the focus of a narcissist's attention can be tiring and confusing for their ex-partners. Every contact, even ones that don't seem like they have anything to do with the narcissist, is usually meant to bring them back into their orbit. A casual message could have hidden meanings. An emotional plea could be an attempt to get their attention, and even an apology that sounds real could be an attempt to lower their guard. The ex-spouse may feel like they are being emotionally manipulated over and over again, with the narcissist's need for control coming before their own health. The first step to breaking free is to become aware of these patterns. To do this, you need to be strong, clear-headed, and determined to set and stick to limits. Narcissists rarely do what they seem to be doing for no reason, and knowing what they're really up to is important for regaining your freedom and moving on. As we near the end, it's important to remember that a narcissist's emotional link to an ex-lover is not based on love, care, or real attachment. On the surface, what may look like lingering feelings or emotional bonds is really their deep-seated need to be in charge, be validated, and be dominant. Narcissists find it hard to let go of old relationships because they serve a purpose for them that has nothing to do with love or respect for the other person. They can't let go of an ex because they want to keep control over someone they used to see as an extension of themselves, not because they miss the person or treasure the memories they have with them. If this has ever happened to you, it's important to know that the narcissist's behavior is a sign of their unresolved inner battles, not of how valuable, desirable, or worthy they think you are. They can't face their own insecurities and vulnerabilities, which is why they do things like sabotaging your progress, trying to reconnect, or refusing to give you peace. They hold on to these emotional ties not because of what you mean to them, but because of what you stand for: approval, a memory of their power, or a chance to take back control. The way a narcissist holds on to old relationships shows how much they fight with who they are, and how afraid they are of being unimportant. They don't see their ex-partners as separate people with their own lives. Instead, they see them as symbols of the hurts they haven't dealt with. Their behavior tells you a lot more about them than it tells you about them. Knowing this dynamic can give you power, because it lets you see their actions for what they really are: desperate attempts to fill a need they won't deal with in themselves. Remember that their unwillingness to let go has nothing to do with you, and everything to do with their own limits. If you find yourself caught in this web, you shouldn't have to deal with their unsolved problems, or think that their behavior shows how much they value you. Their acts come from their own problems, And the first thing you need to do to get away from them is to accept this and take back your power. Remember that what they do says a lot about them, not how valuable you are. You are not defined by the fact that they can't move on. Thank you for taking part in this conversation and trying to figure out how these complicated things work. To help this channel, please like, share, and subscribe if you found this talk helpful. Please feel free to share your thoughts and stories in the sections below. We can make a place for healing and strength together. Have you ever thought